JP Morosi, as you call it, good morning. You got to interview one of the best. And if the camera panned to you, we saw Miguel Cabrera, but you were grinning ear to ear. You could tell he was reflecting on his journey in the game. What did you take away?
Lauren, good morning. It was a special day yesterday in Detroit. So many memories to reflect back on, and we thank Miguel for his time after the game yesterday, and thanks for all the memories, because that was another great one yesterday. The Tigers deserve an immense amount of credit for really planning out such a thoughtful tribute to Miguel Cabrera with a little assist from the baseball gods to make sure that the one play that he was in for defensively, Lauren, the one play he was in for in the last 3 seasons, actually last 2 seasons, was him right there. The most exciting, unassisted ground ball to first base I've seen in my life. And there's a great story about the glove that he was wearing. He actually said yesterday, there it is, that's Spencer Torkelson's glove. Now, Lauren, before the game yesterday, the Tigers are making this elaborate plan to get Miguel in for at least a part of one defensive inning. And he approaches Spencer Torkelson and says, Spencer, I don't have a baseball glove. Let's think about that for a minute. Miguel Cabrera, one of the great players ever, was not in possession of a baseball glove because, as I point out, he had not played defensively since 2021. So Spencer says, I will loan you this glove. I'm not going to be using it, obviously, once you're in the game, so you can just have it. And so Miguel has it for one play, feels the ground ball, and then actually, as he was leaving the field, he actually handed it back to Torkelson. And afterward, we were speaking with Spencer in the clubhouse, and Spencer says, I'm never going to use this glove again, clearly. It's now basically a Hall of Fame relic. I'm going to keep it the rest of my life. So Miguel, as you saw in the photo a moment ago, very thoughtfully dedicated it to him. Again, what are the odds, Lauren, that the one play that he gets is a ground ball to first base, which Torkelson told me was not a routine play. It was a hard play to make for someone who, as Miguel said to me yesterday, had not taken a ground ball on the field during BP all year.
It's an incredible story. He could have kept that for himself or his family, and he gave it to Spencer Torkelson to put in his man cave and forever remember Miguel Cabrera. That was the good over the weekend, JP, and there was bad in terms of Buck Showalter and Gabe Kapler not returning to their managerial posts. What and who is next for those teams?
Well, Lauren, it's a great question, and certainly we're just now beginning to see the managerial carousel and how people could be moving around the sport. Let's certainly start with Buck Showalter. It was very important that yesterday Mets owner Steve Cohen said he believes that Buck did an exemplary job as the Mets manager, but David Stearns, who actually formally began his time as the Mets president of baseball operations today, Steve Cohen believing it's important that David Stearns has his own guy. And obviously we have to wait and see who that person would be. There's plenty of speculation about the link between David Stearns and Craig Counsell. Craig Counsell, as we know, is a little bit busy this week managing the Brewers in the playoffs. So we have to wait to see how all that unfolds. We do know that Craig Counsell's contract is up after this year. It's a natural thing to reflect on and think about. Also with the San Francisco Giants and Gabe Kapler leaving. That was announced over the weekend as well. Gabe Kapler had a very successful year with the Giants a couple years ago, but they've not been able to achieve those heights since then. So Farhan Zaidi making the decision to move on from Gabe Kapler, and now I think the conversation will shift to who could step in the Bay Area. I think it's very important to know we're not sure yet about Bob Melvin's future with the Padres. And Bob Melvin is someone who, of course, had a long and very successful tenure on the other side of the Bay with the A's. He, of course, is a graduate of Cal Berkeley, so a lot of connections to the Bay Area for Bob Melvin. Is that a spot for him? Will Venable's name has been mentioned there as well. I would also point out Vance Wilson, a very highly respected member of the Royals coaching staff, Don Kelly in Pittsburgh, a lot of really important names out there, Clayton McCullough with the Dodgers, to name a few. So I think there's going to be a lot of things talked about, Lauren, in the coming weeks, but I do believe the Mets are likely to wait at least until the Brewers play their final game of the year to see how interested Craig Counsell would be in a reunion there with David Stearns.
Okay, in the weeks and months to come, something to pay attention to. We got right to it earlier with our storylines when we looked at the 4 wildcard series that start tomorrow. What is your focus? And I'm worried to ask you what your prediction is because we all know, Mr. Harvard, how bad you are with these. What are you looking at for these 4 games starting tomorrow?
I'll wait on the prediction, Lauren, maybe till a little bit later. But I'll just tell you this. One team I'm watching very carefully, the Miami Marlins. And you've got to credit Skip Schumacher, Kim Ng, for everything they've done to get this team back to the postseason. Exemplary work, and now they're going to have to trust on some youth to start the games, beginning, we believe, with Jesus Luzardo in game 1. Braxton Garrett in game 2. I think 2 guys that we've seen have flashes of brilliance during the course of the year, and they're going to have to lean on them heavily because, as we know, Sandy Alcantara not available, Eury Perez also not available right now. So they're going to have to go with some of their youth. The point I would make, though, Lauren, is the Marlins actually have a winning record this year over the Phillies during the regular season. Now, of course, October is different. You're talking about the reigning National League champs, but the Marlins, even though they maybe don't have their full complement of pitching, will go to the bank this week believing that they can beat the Phillies because they have, at least during the regular season this year. And of course, Edward Cabrera, what an electrifying arm he has. Again, the key for him is staying in the zone. Certainly, you look at the names, the experience advantages, the Phillies, the ERAs, I think by and large are pretty even, actually. You'll see Garrett having a better year this year than Nola, but I think it's going to be a more evenly matched series than a lot of people realize. I would also point out that in the other NL wildcard series, the Diamondbacks also had a winning record this year against the Milwaukee Brewers. So I think this National League side of the playoff picture, Lauren, is fascinating, and I cannot wait for tomorrow.
It's tricky. 3 p.m. Eastern time is the first series October Madness. Let it begin. JP Morosi, thank you.